Hi, this is Gilles, the radio prepper. You know, I don't review handheld radios much anymore, walkie-talkies, because I just think they're pretty much all the same and I get so many, except for a few features. They have the same bands, the same output power, that's just very similar. But sometimes you get something different, and that's this guy. You might have one already, you might have seen it on YouTube. It's the Quansheng or Quansheng, I don't know how to say it, UV-K5 parenthesis 8. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's an important radio and why it's an important milestone in radio manufacturing. This radio is a cheap Chinese radio. I paid about 20 euros for it, so maybe $22, $23. You might find it for cheaper. I got mine on AliExpress, and it is a dual band VHF UHF radio. Now you might say, so what? I have a Baofeng. Okay, well, this radio is much more advanced than that. It's kind of a new generation as far as processor and functions and possibilities are concerned. And you can change the firmware of the radio. The firmware is the software that makes the radio run. And that's what makes it so special, because listen to this. You can actually install a firmware on this radio that makes it compatible with USB radios on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. That's right, you can use, well, not USB, but DSB. What is that, you may ask? It's dual sideband. So basically USB upper sideband and LSB lower sideband at the same time. But it is compatible with other radios that are USB or just LSB, like my old ICOM IC251, for instance. And that allows you to extend your range, because sideband, dual sideband in this case, allows you to get more range, being able to hear signals that are weaker. Not only that, but it will allow you to listen between 15 megahertz, so that's in HF, to 1300 megahertz, so 1.3 gigahertz, and that's a lot. And that's in FM, AM, and DSB, and CW, and that's a lot of possibilities. It will even transmit on these frequencies, but there is a catch there, because the radio only has filters for the 2 meter and 70 centimeter band. So if you try to transmit on other frequencies, you'll get a very, very small output power. Not only that, but you will produce harmonics and you will pollute the airwaves, and you'll get a knock on your door at 4 in the morning with people in gray suits, and they'll take you away. There are a few experimental firmwares that you can download and install on the radio. The two main ones are IJV and Exumer. I installed the IJV version and first installed the 2.7, but the versions are coming out very quickly, and the one I'm installing now, and I'm going to show you how to do that, it's fairly easy, is the IJV 2.9 R1. I'm not going to get into every feature of this radio and the different firmwares. There are plenty of videos that do that on YouTube. I do suggest that you go visit Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango's channel. He has some pretty cool videos about this. And now I'm going to show you how to install the firmware and program the radio. The radio has a USB-C charging, which is really nice, but that's not how you program it or change the firmware. You actually have to use a Baofeng cable that goes into these connectors here. And here it is. I'm just going to plug it in and plug the other end into my laptop. We'll start with the firmware change. I have my cable plugged in into my Mac, and I'm going to hold the PTT down and turn it on. And you should have the LED coming on. If the LED doesn't come on, that means you have a cable problem. I already downloaded the firmware, so check the link down below. It says download firmware. Make sure you pick the right one. Now note here that I'm using the Chrome browser because Safari doesn't work. For the flasher to work, you have to use Chrome, or I'm not quite sure what you would use on Windows. But here it is ready, and I click on Flash Firmware. Here I choose my USB, and I think it's this one. And click, and here we go. The LED on the radio is flashing. You don't see it, but trust me on that. And it's fairly fast. It's already about close to 50%. And that's all there is to it, guys. You just flash the firmware in just a matter of a minute. So it's pretty darn fast. And that's it. So here I am in Chirp. I will open the radio and download from radio. Of course, I have to choose the, okay, that's the right cable. And we have Quansheng. Of course, the UV-K5. And let's see if that works. Connect cable, make sure connector is firmly connected. Click OK. Whoops, nope, it doesn't work. Alright, so of course, if the radio is on, it works better. Alright, so I have all my frequencies here. I'm going to go down to the bottom. And we'll add the frequencies that I want. Alright, so I did the copy and paste of my frequencies here for the equivalent of the civil defense frequencies. And I did copy from here, paste here. I'm going to do radio, upload to radio, and simply click on OK. So very simple to program this radio.
Bonjour, ici Gilles F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee F4 WBY Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. À l'écoute. Bonjour, ici Gilles F4 WBY F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Over.
Alors, tant que c'est à l'intérieur, bon ben ça va, c'est pas un problème, mais dès que tu les mets à l'intérieur, ça résiste pas.
It's working.
Elle a tenu quoi, peut-être 6 mois avant de se déformer.
F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee F4 WBY, vous me recevez?
Ah, Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Bon, ben, on va vous saluer parce que nous c'est là où on s'en va, là on a rendez-vous sur le 80 mètres. Et donc Fox 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee, c'est ça?
Oui, c'est bien ça, F4 WBY à Antibes. Là, j'opère avec un petit UV-K5 QSL.
Oui, ok, QSL, bon, ça marche bien malgré que ce soit un petit truc là. Donc le bonne 73, bonne poignée de main, ici c'est le QTH est à Nice, et le prénom est Jean-Pierre, et QTH Nice, salut Alain de 4FXV, salut Georges de 6ERL, donc si vous voulez on se retrouve sur le 80 parce qu'on allait basculer sur le 80 mètres. Hein. Voilà, donc je pense pas que la station d'Antibes ait été entendue par notre ami 6FNG de Gardanne. Donc Alain, je t'envoie les 73 des copains et si tu veux on bascule tous sur le 80 mètres là, c'est ok Alain?
So I'm not receiving the other station. And they're going to go on 80 meters, and unfortunately my magnetic loop doesn't go on 80 meters, but I'm very happy to see that the radio works in DSB. Awesome. Oui, F4 TXR de F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Oui, la voix est assez déformée, hein. Je pense que c'est parce que c'est de DSB à DSB, ça marche pas bien, hein. À toi. So, is it a good radio for prepping? I will say yes. The only thing that bothers me is that it's not waterproof. It's splash proof, but yeah, it's not waterproof. Although, of course, for the price you could buy 2 of them. That's not a problem. The fact that you can transmit in DSB, dual sideband, that's absolutely amazing, and it's extremely useful. Also, don't forget you have AM, also amplitude modulation.
So if you don't want to be heard, you could very well transmit in DSB or AM. I think from DSB to DSB, there's a problem there, so I'm not sure you could use two of these radios to communicate in DSB, but you could do it in AM. If someone knows, I can't remember right now, but I seem to recall something like that. So if someone knows, put it in the comments. Can you use DSB to DSB? I'm not sure. In any case, it's a great radio. It's cheap. That definitely helps. And you can use a mode that will give you a little better range. I will definitely keep it in my EDC and consider it one of my main radios just for that capability. And I do hope that it will push manufacturers to make radios now that will be all mode, so we'll have USB and LSB. That would be awesome. Now, if only Yaesu, ICOM, Kenwood could make a radio like that, I'd buy two of them. At least I'd buy one regardless of the price, because that would be absolutely amazing. And maybe the success of Quansheng will push them to do so. I mean, I really, really hope so. What I think is that this radio will simply replace the Baofeng UV-5R. It's just a new Baofeng. That's it. It's cheap. It works. Well, of course, it's a bit of an unknown because it came out recently. But why buy a Baofeng UV-5R now that you have this radio? And I would much rather buy the UV-K5 than buying a Baofeng. That firmware capability, extra capabilities, that's really a big plus. And that's it for this video. Have a good one.